TW Steel presents the TW Steel Solberg World Champion Editions. The Norwegian motorsport legend. The first driver ever to win the FIA World Championships in 2 different motorsports. The raw talent that masters every terrain as he faces it at full speed. With a life lived on the edge that requires supreme timekeeping and keep your pulse racing all the way. Built with elegance, durability and unbeatable timekeeping precision, TW Steel's new breed of bold watches reflects the racing spirit of Petter Solberg. Meet our new adrenaline-fueled watches that really demand your attention. twsteel.com.
Good evening, fellow moto enthusiasts and sim racing fans out there. It's actually time for our very first GT Pro Series season here on rFactor2. Once again, in the commentary booth tonight, we got for you myself, that's actually Renee, and with me, the remarkable, and I'm delighted to actually introduce them, it's Lee Smith and Aiden Millward.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it's going to be a change of pace for me. You know, I've literally jetted in from Stockholm this morning, and I'm a little tired. I'm not going to lie, but it'll be all right. But you guys, you got the veterans here. You and Aiden should be able to carry through this one.
I'm absolutely sure that the action we'll have on screen today will wake everyone up because it is the very first round in the new pro competition that we launched over here at rFactor2. We got 30 of the best sim racers of the entire world on this grid, going for an overall prize pool of 15,000 euros. So whoever followed the Hot Lap competition, then you know already this is a super tough and tight competition. And I can tell you, I see already the results of the current qualification going on. It's still the same even here in Silverstone. So it will be an absolutely blast to watch this. Once again, as I said, we are actually on Silverstone circuit. So we're heading over to Great Britain. So Lee, that should be your home territory, right?
It's a circuit I've been to a lot of times. Like my dad used to take me there as a kid. It's Formula 1 days, mainly for Formula 1 stuff. So, like, you know, I've got a lot of memories going there. I'm talking like back to Nigel Mansell era and stuff like that. It's like a long time ago. I've been there a lot. It's a great circuit.
So we now told everyone already that you're old.
I am old.
That's a good start. A good start. If you wonder where Aiden is, we actually sent Aiden down to the pits today, so he will keep us updated with rumors, drama, news, and side info, everything that's going on down in the pits. This is round 1 out of 6 in total, so it's, I would say, a fairly short season, but more importantly, it's 2 races per round. So tonight we will see a sprint race, and then afterwards we will head into a 45-minute main race, which will also see the top 10 being reversed.
Yeah, so it's going to be very interesting. I'm intrigued to see how this is going to work. Obviously, we're going to have the full-on sprint to start with, and a lot of names taking part today that are very well known throughout the sim world. You know, obviously. Rudy Van Bruin in there, all those sort of guys, who is actually doing very well, I can tell you right now, in practice and qualifying. So you guys can't quite see it on your screen right now, but he's just posted a really nice quick lap.
Yeah, he does. I mean, he was directly invited, so just if you guys don't know, we had invited 15 drivers and another 15 qualified from the Hot Lap qualifying. Everyone that was a bit slower than them, and it wasn't by much, I can tell you that. We actually put them in the Challenge Series, which you can watch next Monday. So it's always basically switching between Pro and Challenge. 8 p.m. there as well next Monday if you want to see the fastest grid on the Challenge Series, which is the feeder series to this Pro 1. So next season you will see people coming up from Split 1 of Challenge into the actual Pro Series. And that will be another exciting field, I'm absolutely sure, because there's a lot of action. And when it comes to the names, we obviously have basically all the big team names in it, right? We got AAA Esports, we got Redline, we got Red Bull Esports, we got Williams. So whatever's big when it comes to the names is here in the GT Pro Series. And you already talked about Rudy van Buren, which is a name that everyone knows, but there's also Risto Capit and Ernja Jovski from AAA Esports that are absolutely blastingly fast on a track like that. Then Williams bringing Kuba Brzezinski and Nikodem Wisniewski, also two drivers that are quick in sim racing, not necessarily in rFactor2, but we'll see in this season if they can actually catch up.
That's it. See how they can transition their skills, right? See how they come across. It's interesting you mentioned Risto and Ehan because they have been topping the qualifying times for the sort of while that I've been sat watching them do another warm up, and Rudy's just like blasted out a lap out of nowhere, just chilling in the pits while he figures out it's going. But even further down the field, obviously you've got like you say, the guys from Red Bull in there, the Lamborghini test driver in real life, Dennis Lind in there. So there's a lot of pros taking part. We're going to see how they transition into rFactor2. Obviously, these guys are playing sim racing for ages. I was about to say decades, but I don't want to age these guys like I am.
It will be an exciting start. I mean, we got the last 3 minutes basically now of the qualification, and it will be interesting to see how the result will look like in the end, because we talked about favorites before going into the show, right? And there's so many names to choose from where I can't just pick a single driver and say, yeah, I'm sure that there's at least an 80% chance that he could win the race or even the championship, because to be honest, all of them could. If we look at the current time, just giving you an overview, so it's a 156.2 currently leading the pack here, and the slowest is the 157.7. It's
tight. It's tight. It is interesting because you guys are obviously talking about this before we started. It's like anyone trying to call a winner. It's like it's just such a tight pack right now that we don't really know. For me, what's interesting is obviously the car choices. We also talked about it, Rene, at the start. Nobody going with the Aston Martin, somewhat surprising. Obviously, lots of the McLaren 720s in there as well. But yeah, the car choices. There is a single Bentley in there as well, if I'm not mistaken, which I think Dennis was using, right? But it's not a good advert right now because they're kind of at the back.
Yeah, it's 7 different cars. We got BMW M6 GT3 that's on your screen, and the current leading car is also BMW, the Team Redline number 13. From Rudy van Buren, as you can see on the overlays. There were a lot of 720S. There's also 650S in the pack, as well as the Bentley you mentioned already, a Mercedes that actually is piloted by Ferris Stanley, the number 28 from Satellite Racing, and a few of Audi's. Yuri Kastorp, he brought an Audi, the Singularity Racing Audi, and the same for Martin Durland. So his teammate is on the same car, while we see on Redline that they use 2 different cars. Will be interesting to see over the course of the season if it's better to have both drivers on the same car so they can share setups like easily, or if it makes sense to have different cars to play out different strengths on the circuits that we travel to.
Yeah, and also obviously later on we're going to be looking at like how the tire wear is going to go. Obviously we're going to have the sprint to start with, and then going into the race, how the different cars will affect that way, whether someone's going to be better to go the distance effectively. Erhan, by the way, just posted a decent time. He's shaving down the seconds off Rudy right now.
Yeah, it's 0.055 there, the difference between him and Van Buren, so it's not a lot, and I'm absolutely sure the fight will be on, even if it stays like that, and Van Buren has the chance to be first into turn 1. Ernja Jovski has a lot of experience, and I'm absolutely sure that he can bring the fight to the Redline driver, so that will be very interesting to see. It's a 15-minute race and sprint, so you can go all out basically every single corner, but as soon as we hit into the 45-minute main race, there shouldn't be pit stops if you want to be at the top, but you need to be aware of the tire and the tire wear, because you can't just go all out like in the sprint race and then expect your tires to hold on to the very last lap. So it will be interesting to see if anyone will save them for an attack and a push on the last few laps of the race.
Yeah, I'm just watching to see whether Dennis Lin can do anything in the final lap. He's trying to post the hot lap. He's way outside the time at the moment, so and has also done the least laps of anyone, so hasn't had too much of a warm-up coming into this one, I guess. So just trying to see in this final little qualifying whether he can post anything in there. Obviously, the current leader is Rudy. Erhan, Risto, all sort of up in that top three. Pretty much on top of each other in terms of times. Could be very interesting to start to see how that goes in the first couple of laps. Okay, let's see if Dennis does anything in this lap. Is it going to be anything special in the Bentley? Not really. Sadly not.
Yeah, it's like, before we dive into the actual sprint race, now that qualification is over and Van Buren gets the first pole position here of the GT Pro Series, we obviously want to thank our partners that actually made all of this happen, because we talked about already 15,000 euro price pool, plus Fanatec gear, plus TW Steel watches, and all of this is presented by the race. And if you don't know who they are, it's actually a platform where you get all the news about F1, Formula E, IndyCar, MotoGP, and also esports and sim racing. So basically everything you like, you can find it right there. They also broadcast this championship over at the race.com/YouTube actually, so you can check that out. Make sure to stay on top of everything that happens in our new series, the same for Pro and Challenge, so don't worry about that. But we got our first pole position, as we said, Rudy van Buren. He is followed by 2 AAA esports cars, and that might, be a tough challenge there for Rudy, having no backup by his teammate, because his teammate is Max Verstappen, who unfortunately can't make this race and will join us going on forward from round 3. But yeah, no backup for him, and 2 teammates right behind Rudy.
Yeah, as I was just saying, he might get bullied at the first corner. We'll see how it goes. Obviously, Risto and Peter just behind him as well. We're just going to be looking at it. Obviously, the thing with Silverstone is, in terms of the start, there is a chance to overtake in that sort of, when you're going through Village and into the loop. It's very easy to try and maybe catch somebody out, try and get at the inside of them. And then as soon as you're belting it down well into the straight and into the Brooklands, you can try and sustain that lead. We'll see how it works out for them, though. Obviously, with Rudy on top, further down the field. What car is Rudy in? What did he?
Rudy is piloting another BMW.
Yeah. So it's the 3 BMWs leading the pack. That's interesting, obviously, because we had the conversation prior that a lot of people were favouring the McLarens, and the front 3 are all BMWs.
Yeah, we know that sometimes people favour the cars that they see on top of the hot lap qualifying. In the beginning, that was the big McLaren 720S, and now people actually start trying out other cars, and it seems to work well. So it is Van Buren in front of Jajowski. Then it should be Risto Capit that is up next. Let me quickly drag that up again on my screen, so I'm not giving you guys the wrong order that we start in. So we will have Van Buren, Jajowski, Wisniewski, then Capit, then Bieljak and Kevin van Doren. But we got red lights already waiting here. First round is starting off the race, and it's not the actual first lap.
It's the formation lap. Calm it down. Calm it down.
But let me at least have a bit of practice, dude. Come on.
I thought you wanted to go full into the Murray Walker.
Yeah,
go.
I have to say, I just love those, red light moments, and I was just really going for it. It's kind of sad, but I knew. I have to admit, I still wanted to do it though, because I think it's a great moment to start the championship. But yeah, it's formation lap, and leader is allowed to start this race actually in sector 3. So there's a lot of room to choose from where you want the field to actually start the pace and get up to speed. So it will be kind of interesting which choice Rudy van Buren will go to.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be to see how he keeps the pack in check effectively, chugging around. There's nothing worse, right? It's like, everyone wants to drive fast. There's nothing worse than having to chug around in a formation lap, because everything's just like in slow motion. You're like, oh my God, come on, I just want to start the race, get going. And it's obviously all going to be on Rudo. He's got a lot of experience, obviously been very successful over the last 2 years in his career, so certainly going to be looking at the 2 behind him, the 2 BMWs, figuring exactly how this is going to work out for him. I say 2 BMWs.
It's not anymore.
Is there, right? Yeah, there is the McLaren there now.
we missed out. Nikodem Wisniewski actually
He must have snuck it in the last
them.
lap. Yeah.
Yeah, he got in between the two AAA BMWs, which is really interesting. In the McLaren that we talked so much about. Oh, there's a bit of rubbing already on the formation lap as they go side by side here with Team Wisniewski and Risto Capit. But let's see if Janowski can maybe jump right next onto Rudy van Buren for turn 1 when we get the Pro Series underway for round number 1. Rudy's still rolling though, not green yet. Let's see when he will actually accelerate, get everything going. They need a lot of patience right now to get this started. Let's see, yeah, I was wondering if the others have to catch up, and they do, because that gap is way too big right now. So they need to all close that gap now, make sure that we have a tight fit pack there. At least to look at on cameras, let's be honest, right?
I mean, it looks great. It looks fantastic when you see all the information. You know, that's always been the beauty of sim racing. It's obviously, you know, everybody's proper racing. It's not like you're jumping into a random sim and there's some wild yeehaw kid that's just smashing everyone. So this is going to be very interesting to see how Rudy gets this started as they come towards the third sector. He can obviously start it at any moment when he wants to. They're all packing up. And it is very tight. That is a very tight grid. I think we're in a good spot to go.
Yeah, I like how they now close the gap, so that looks a lot better than the beginning of this formation lap. Well, that's why it's so long. Let's see. Rudy will actually get his foot down on the accelerator. Maybe here on Hangar Straight, that might be a good moment, right? You have a bit of run, but on the other hand, you're creating a lot of slipstream for everyone behind you.
Yeah, he wants to catch him off guard, right? That's the plan, right? He's just trying to bide his moment to try and catch not so much everyone else, just more Earhan alongside him, because obviously if he was to do it now, Earhan may well have a run on him into Stowe.
Let's see. I don't expect Rudy to open the race on the straight, so it's nearly done. We're already in the braking zone for the 180-degree right-hander.
I think he'll do it through Vale. You think he'll do Vale and get a good run on club? You think that's what he's going to try and go for it?
I mean, there's not enough space to really make a move for Janowski then. I think that might be a good choice here. Let's see. I mean, we know that Nikodem Wisniewski, he's right behind. That's the McLaren you see behind the leading BMW.
He's backing him up. He's backing him up.
Yeah.
I like it. I like it. A lot of gamemanship coming on here from Rudy. Here we go. I think he's off. Yeah, as we expected. In through Vale. That's where he's going to pot it down. Now he's off. So
it's already side by side between Nikodem Wisniewski and Mr. Capit. Capit wants to make the move from the McLaren, but no chance to push himself through there. It's still Rudy van Buren leading. Janowski second. Then Wisniewski, then Capit. Peter had a good run there. Oh, first corner. He's already outside there. Slightly on the green, but I don't saw any major crashes yet. A bit of rubbing here and there, but that's fine.
Yeah, it's a pretty clean start, which is what you want to see. You don't want to see any sort of craziness. There is a good undercut there. I didn't see who that was. There was a bit of touch in it with this Kevin Siggy just at the back there. Just a little bit of connection, but he didn't lose any places from it. So he's trying to sneak up on Kevin Van Doren, but didn't really work out. But down the back, you can see it's getting lively.
They're all fighting out there, trying to go left and right, see if there's any opportunity to make a move. But so far, everyone tries to behave. I mean, this is the sprint race for the very first time that they start into the Pro Series. No one wants to be the first one being in the wall.
Yeah, exactly. You don't want to be going to the wall. You don't want one of those random things. You don't want all the other drivers pissed off at you. That's for sure. You know, like if you were to make a rash move and suddenly everyone gets angry with you, it's like you don't want to be that guy at the start. So we do have our first little overtake there. I think that was Kevin that just snuck down the inside. So Kevin moves into 10th place as they also judge for positions going through into Maggots and Beckett's. It's pretty clean so far as they trail on through. Nobody really making a big play for it yet.
Yeah, it was Kevin Ryan here that won spot around 10th. That's right. It's Hani Alzapti right behind him. In the front, that's Simoncic waiting and see if Kevin can actually close that gap. That's the McLaren and Audi and also BMW. So basically everyone, but there is the move by Hani. He's trying to go for the inside, both rubbing a bit. But it seems like the BMW is the stronger car. The McLaren starts sliding and Kevin is dropping down to 13th due to that slight touch there from the BMW. So it wasn't really worth trying to close the door there. But it had an opening for Annie and he just went for it.
Yeah, it's just the worst spot as well. Once you lose the speed going into that main straight, just You get punished, like double punished for it. Obviously, he slips down for the 3 places for it. Up at the front, there's starting to be a gap form. Ehan's making a little bit of a challenge here. He's closed the gap on Rudy in the last lap, but you can see it's already a second between second and third, so he's already starting to develop a bit of a lead between almost the first 4, I would say. There's like the little 2 guys of Ehan and Rudy who are really starting to post some impressive times at the start.
Rudy doing a good job then. You know, like, Erhan knows that he has to stop Rudy early on. If Van Buren is running away, then there's nothing stopping him. That guy doesn't do many mistakes, or any mistakes at all, mostly. So Erhan has to be on his back all the time, trying to apply some pressure here, and trying to get back on it. Also, since this is a sprint race, keep in mind, top 10 will start reversed into the main race. So currently 10th, that's Hani Al-Zabdi. He would start on pole position if it stays like that in the main race. So that's another factor to keep an eye on. But points on the board, and more importantly, every round here in the GT Pro Series has money on the line. It's not just the overall championship. There's a 5k prize pool on the overall championship, but there are 10,000 euros on the rounds, so split across those 6 rounds. So every single position you get, it's worth money.
And everybody wants money, that's for sure. I'm just trying to see if there's any sort of real challenges at the moment. Just panning down the pack. There's a couple of like small little fights going on down the back. 16th place, Yoni at the moment, just trying to get onto Jimmy's Nisula's backside, and actually Jimmy forced to go wide on that corner, so it's going to give Yoni a decent chance going into this next corner to try and get past the man from Red Bull at the moment. It's an interesting challenge. Obviously, as we mentioned, there are a lot of McLarens in this, as you expect to see. They are sort of jostling for positions. We'll keep our eye on the front pack as well, but it seems that everybody at the front at the moment is staying close. I'm keeping my eye on Ehan's time, because he's keeping within a half a second of Rudy. Really keep trying to keep up with him, but it doesn't seem like he's closing that gap yet.
Yeah, that's true, but the backpack is very exciting right now, because it is Joni Tomola, the Red Bull Esports driver, that now close to get to Jimmy Nisula on 15th position right now. So Johnny obviously wants to make a move. I mean, representing Red Bull Esports, want to be in the top 10 if possible. Everyone wants to be right now, let's be honest here. But it is a tough group. No matter where you look in the grid right now, there are strong drivers on every single position, so no easy wins for none of them. Even though Johnny had a quick look there on the inside, as Jimmy made a small mistake there on the right-hander, but that wasn't big enough. And even Kevin Ryan down to 14, because remember when we last time had him on camera, he was 10th and then lost a lot of position due to the touch of the BMW.
Yeah, and Jimmy's all over him. Jimmy is all over him. So Kevin from 10th, he went down to 13th after that knock. He's obviously lost another spot to Cuba, and now it looks like Jimmy trying a bit of an adventurous move, I think, there to try and go the inside. I don't think he's going to be able to make it stick, so Kevin should be able to hold him off pretty easily here. He's left to right, and obviously Kevin's trying to make a move of his own as well, so he may be able to benefit from this and sneak past the boat.
It's just interesting now that Kevin Ryan is basically backing up everyone, how close it gets on the back, right? Jimmy is there, Yoni is there, Martin Durland is getting closer. That's the white and neon green R8. You see the back one is once again pushing there on the McLarens with Kevin Ryan and Jimmy, and that gives a chance to Yoni here to make a move maybe around the outside. I think he might be quick enough to actually do it, because the next one, he will be on the inside. If he gets a good round out there, gets the traction down, and even Martin Dillon is looking at the same opportunity. That seems like Jimmy will lose some positions in just one move.
Yeah, he's really backing him up. This is causing all sorts of problems. Kevin has luckily got out of it now, and now it's just caused the guys. He's just backed up to absolute carnage back there. It's looking very tight as we go through the loop and into the Wellington straight down the side, but it does look like they've managed to come out. Yoni's lost position on that one, just about got him sold. Like I mentioned, Martin paid dividends. He managed to sneak up, and it's Jimmy Nisula that actually slipped down 2 spots in that little tussle.
I absolutely love the smart play done here by Martin Dillon. I mean, he was waiting for everyone to start the move, then he decided to stick to one driver, just trying to follow through, and it paid off for him. I mean, he won some positions. He's now behind Joni Tomola from Red Bull Esports, so it's looking good for the Singularity Racing on that car. I just wonder where's the second car. Yuri Kasparov, he's currently on 12. That's the other Singularity car. He's trying to close the gap to Manuel Biancolina, who is a very experienced driver as well. So yeah, I guess I can't call out anyone here for not being experienced, so I should probably not even use it.
Yeah. Going back to the front of the grid, Erhan has closed the gap. He is on, well, 0.4 now, so he's managed to pull away. You can see they've pulled away from Nicodem and Risto. They've managed to get a 2-second gap on him. He's really trying to put a challenge on Rudy right now, getting the full drag down the straights, sticking in his mirror effectively, and causing problems, and just almost giving Rudy a reminder that, hey, I'm still here, you're not losing me, I've cut you for pace.
Erhan is no one I would expect to do a silly move just because he has the chance. He's on the back of Rudy. He's not afraid of doing a move, that's for sure, but he will wait for the right moment to do so. Well, he was actually, I was wondering, the McLaren that we saw spinning there, we missed. Was it? No, it wasn't Kevin Ryan, even though he dropped down to 24th. But there was someone else. That was Jonas Radio being involved as well. I just quickly tried to catch up with everything that happens while we go through the pack. If you're wondering, because I see in the chat regarding Max Verstappen, he will join us going on from round 3. Unfortunately, due to, yeah, you can probably guess, right, it's a lot of F1 going on right now. He can't join us on the first 2 rounds, but then he will be happy to help his teammate Rudy van Buren, who's currently in the lead here of the sprint race.
Yes, did a grand job. But Erhan has closed it now. We're inside 3.3 seconds, so he's really on the pace, and it's causing a bit of problems. I think the pressure on Rudy here, you can see just how tight they are on the corners. Rudy with just a little tiny slide on that corner. Maybe Erhan thinking he's got a chance, but I think Rudy's managed to get back under control, so it looks like I think we're going to see the gap stretch again after Erhan gave it a little challenge. They are leaving everyone else behind, though. This little individual battle at the front is ordinarily would slow things down, but they are. Look at that gap. Look at the lead. They are pulling ahead.
Well, his straight copy is basically position 3 and 4. Nikodem Wisniewski from Williams Esports and Rista Capet, the second AAA Esports car. Like AAA definitely the strongest team right now. If we look at the standings with being 2nd and 4th, but Rista Capet, he was on the back of Nikodem Wisniewski since we started this race, and he seems to be more desperate right now. I see him more weaving out, trying to have a look if there's a chance to pass the McLaren from Williams. And Nikodem Wisniewski definitely on the defensive line now, basically every corner.
Going back to what we were following earlier on with Kevin, I don't know whether he was the one that spun or what he's done, but either way, he has gone all the way back to 24. So clearly something happened in that pack that we're watching, obviously, with Jimmy Nisula and Yoni Tomola. All that was going on between, I think it was like 12th down to about 16th. It was a big mess back there, but clearly something's happened because Kevin has gone way down the field. He was up in 10th place at one point, so that has gone badly wrong for him here on the first sprint race. Just looking back through, see if there's any challenger. Really, it is going back to Nikodem and Risto, as you say. They're getting pretty close to one another. Erhan, once again, staying steady with Rudy, but I don't think he's going to go for a challenge.
Yeah, like Nikodem Wisniewski is able to at least create a bit of a gap right now. Get some time to breathe, try to get into your rhythm again, because he was adjusting his line pretty hard, actually, to keep Rista Capet from making a move. So that won't be easy for many laps, right? You want to make sure that you can actually catch up, maybe even to Erhan Janowski and Rudy van Buren, even though right now I think that 3rd and 4th not really up to the pace of our current leaders, because these guys are really getting away from everyone else. Let's quickly see what happens around Kevin van Doren and Kevin Ziggy, but that seems to be still quite a big gap. Yeah, there's everyone sorted, basically. Not fighting. Unfortunately, we lost Jordi Swears. He started 24th and is now 3 laps down already in the pits. So, unfortunately, that is a driver we won't see fighting for points here in the sprint race anymore.
Yeah, down the back is where the action seems to be at the moment. Daniel Pastor's trying to put a move on at the moment, but it looks like he just clipped the corner a little too heavy on that one, so had his moment, but that seems to have gone as he's putting down on POP, trying to chase him down at the moment in the Porsche. I think, is that the only Porsche? I don't remember seeing too many Porsches.
We got more than one. We got Arne for Racing on a Porsche. That's the number 7 car. And then there should be, obviously, the HM Engineering Porsche that you were referring to. These are the only 2 Porsches in the field here. That's true. Not that many.
everyone favouring. It's funny that the BMWs are doing so well at the front, though, when everyone was pumping for the McLaren. Obviously, the top one being Nikodem up the front there with his big Chill Blast sponsorship down the side of him. So that's a company I bought a computer from many years ago. Seems to be doing well, though, but he has got a bit of pressure on him at the moment. Risto trying to put a move, just showing his side down the straight, but not really working out. Nico's going to be steady to hold him off there. Ehan has kind of backed off a little bit from Rudy. I think they're going to be settling for second place. We'll see how that one works out with just 2 laps to go. I don't think it's going to be putting the moves on him just yet. Kevin Siggy, though, does have Dennis Jordan close behind him. I don't know whether that's maybe somewhere a place could be gained, but outside of that, it's looking pretty steady in the top 10.
Oh, Risto Kappa just overtook Nikodem Wisniewski there. Unfortunately, I think we missed it. I'm not sure if Jimmy catched that move because I had it on my camera. But Risto Kappa's now up to 3rd. And with that creating a double there for AAA Esports, they would have 2 drivers on the sprint race on the podium. And that was an important move because we got the last 30 seconds of the sprint race. So I don't expect there to be another lap. So there's not much time for Nikodem Wisniewski to get back his podium spot.
I didn't see it. I mean, Nikodem must have made a big error because he looked like he got Risto pretty much under control. So there must have been an error on one of the corners there.
No, he
absolutely
capitalized. He opened the inside a bit too much, and then Risto Kappa was not going for a second time. Like, he's like, all right, if you open the door and I can force the BMW in there, then let's go for it. And he did. So that was a brave move, and I really like to see that. But that should see Rudy van Buren actually winning the sprint race, and so he does in front of Erhan Jajowski, and then his teammate Risto Kappa closing the top 3. 4th should be Nikodem Wisniewski, even if I don't see him on my screen right now anymore. Yeah, he just became a bit slower after running through start-finish line. But yeah, that was a move in the last seconds of the race, changing our podium here.
Yeah, we'll see if anything comes from that. He's claiming there might be a penalty, so I thought it seemed a clean move from what you've said, but I didn't get to see it. So I was scouting down the back to see if there was anything going to be happening down there. I was looking for the crazy overtakes in the last few minute laps. But Rudy dominating it, led from the start, and absolutely performed with Ehan, keeping him in check. Those two really did separate themselves from the rest of the pack today. In the first sprint. I can tell you, AAA Esports will be happy about the start into the first season of GT Pro Series here with a double podium, but only for the sprint race, and obviously it's overall results that count. So we will see if they can mimic this in the main race. Main race, 45 minutes, top 10 reversed, so we'll see quite a different race. I'm absolutely sure about that, because Rudy van Buren, you're right, that was start to finish. Great performance, but we didn't saw him in any real fight in overtaking. Now he has to. Absolutely, yeah. It's going to liven up the race massively. We're going to see some very interesting, because clearly him and Ehan were faster than everyone else there. Like a 2-second plus lead towards the end. I think they may even hit 3 or 4 seconds towards the end there, because obviously once the challenging happened between Risto and Nico, it obviously slowed them down a little bit, but solid stuff. And obviously when we look down the back, obviously there was a lot of overtaking going on down there. Uni and Yuri trying to go in at it. Poor old Kevin Ryan sliding all the way down to 23rd. He's going to be very disappointed. Obviously was up in 10th place at that one point, went for that. I don't know whether it was a brazen overtaking maneuver, but he tried to make it work, and it just didn't work for him. He lost about 4 places because of it, and then slid all the way down into 23rd, unfortunately. Yeah, unfortunately that happens, but that sprint race is done. But don't worry, there are no boring breaks here, and we will dive right into the action. But before that, I'll send it down to Aidan Milward with our pit report.
Thank you, Renee. Well, that was a pretty feisty race, wasn't it? Going all the way through the field. So I've just taken a bit of a screenshot of the final standings from that race. So as it stands, Manuel Biancalilla will have pole position for the next round. Unless my my standings are saying something different, but provisionally, Manuel Biancalilla will take pole position for the next round. Hani Al-Sabti will be in second, then Simoncic, Jordan, Siggy, Van Doren, Berliak, Capet, Jajowski, and Rudy van Buren will be starting 10th. But we are fully expecting Rudy van Buren to make a charge through the field on that one. Some other news going on. I've been told that Dennis Lind unfortunately suffered a technical gremlin and missed the start of the race. Hopefully he'll be back in for this one. If not, he'll be back in the next round at which will be at the Nurburgring in a couple of weeks' time. And word in the paddock also is that the Bentley we saw was quite off the pace in qualifying, but the race pace is actually much better. So if that Bentley does get back into this race, we should see some good overtaking moves from the Lamborghini factory driver. So I think that's pretty much it from this end. I'll just hand you all back to Lee and to Renee.
Thank you very much, Aidan. Yeah, solid stuff. I actually can see Dennis in the chat as well, so he's just saying he's going to have to clean up his PC, apparently. You know, it happens to us all, the gremlins in the system, effectively. But I think we're going to be seeing some serious overtaking coming out now. Obviously, we've seen the pace that Rudy can set, that Erhan could set, and now it's down to a very different set of skills in how they can work their way from the 10th place, as you say, with the position turning around. Obviously, they've got the time to do this time, Rene. Obviously, it's a much longer race now.
That's true. 45 minutes obviously opens a lot more possibilities also that you need to be aware of tire wear in general during those 45 minutes. But with Bianco Lila, the grid also has a pole setter right now that could be a winner, actually. It's like, we know that, and Bianco Lila is capable of doing so. So catching him early is very important, especially for the fast guys that now start in the back, like Yoyovsky, like Capet, like Rudy van Buren. So it's not like you can just chill out and think, oh, it's 45 minutes, you know, I will chill out here in 9th or 8th place and then maybe make a move at the end of time. But nope, it needs to happen fast, it needs to happen quick, and without crashing, because obviously, yeah, if you hit the wall and the car is damaged, then there's not much chance for you to win the race anymore.
Well, generally, if you hit the wall, it's not going to go well for you. There's no way around that one. But yeah, it's gonna open up certainly the first couple of laps. Obviously, I'm presuming we're having a rolling start once again. I don't know whether is it a straight grid start this time. I'm not 100% on that one. Obviously, that's going to be down. We saw how Rudy sort of took it as expected. You know, kind of standard that he would take it into Vale and then go for it sort of around Club. And when it worked very well for him and Erhan. Erhan was on the ball, maybe caught a couple of people out, but going to make things very interesting this first couple of laps. And as you say, you know, we saw in qualifying just how close this pack can be. So we expect, obviously, you can't slouch, because if you leave, even if these guys from 10th will be starting in first place, they can still easily hold that lead.
And that's at least what I expect. But on the other side, we know that Van Buren and Yoyovsky went, yeah, I would say all out there in the sprint race because they could on those tires. But now it also comes to experience of managing a car throughout a main race, throughout the 45 minutes. Obviously, with rFactor2 being one of the endurance sims out there, people are used to way longer stints and way longer races. Still, 45 minutes and the tire wear there is not something to just ignore.
Yeah, and then that could become a factor. We were talking about that at the start, right? The different cars. Maybe who's going to have the better tires or harder tire wear. I don't know. You know, fronts and backs. Obviously, the racers know better, and there has been a couple of talk around it. And obviously, you know, the car selection they've gone with is not just going to be on the race pace, but also on this factor. It should be enough. From what I remember talking at the start, obviously everyone's saying they should just have enough on the tires to not have to do a pit stop. But I think it's going to be tight. So, you know, controlling the wear on your tires could be vital here.
I'm absolutely sure it will be. And I'm happy that the first race wasn't the worst case, right? I was kind of expecting, okay, if Rudy really gets a good start and runs away, we might never question the first ever race win we will see in the Pro Series, but Yoyovsky was right there. He definitely showed that he can go the pace of Rudy van Buren, that he is a threat to him. That's for sure. The same for Nico Wisniewski and Risto Capet. Still, Risto Capet with that move, with the last 30 seconds on the clock being ice cold there, and saying like, all right, waited long enough now. I know exactly how Nikodem is going into that turn, and I will make my move now. It worked absolutely fine for him. Not enough time on the clock, obviously, for Wisniewski to get back and get revenge. but in 45 minutes that might be different, and once again it will be Wisniewski in front of Risto Capet, so he's definitely used to that side.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, the guys just getting a little practice in. They are on a 10-minute break. If you're wondering why we're talking in there, the race has not started yet. They're just giving them just a little break in between, so it gives us some vital words in there. We have Aiden here. I want to bring him into it. I know he's busy doing stuff, and he's been trying to fill this spreadsheet in between. I want to bring Aiden in, see if he saw anything in there that especially caught his eye. Like, is there any chances in this top 10? Obviously, there was a little bit going on between Nico them at the end there as well with Risto. Any sort of thing that you're seeing that's going to sort of spice up the race, maybe?
Other than potentially, hang on a sec, I'm just checking my results. There's been a lot going on to keep up. It's been so brilliant to watch. And it's been great to listen to you guys commentating on that as well. But listening to... let me try that again. To see Rudy van Buren come through, that is probably going to be what we're going to be looking forward to the most, because we know that he is fast. We know he was once the world's fastest gamer. And he's got 45 minutes to get through, so I don't think that the moves will be as fast and as hard in this one to try and push their way to the front. They'll be a little bit more conservative in their overtaking. But it's still going to be brilliant to watch. As for stuff that was going on in the mid-pack, I watched Turn 1, Turn 2, Turn 3 just to make sure. But other than that, a little bit of bumping and barging, but it was all fair. Nobody was wronged, so to say, in any of the corners either being bumped off the road or things like that. So it's been pretty clean and pretty good to watch all the same.
I wonder, Aiden, do you still know Martin Durland where he finished on sprint race?
Let me have a look. I took a screenshot on my phone just to be safe with all this. Martin Durland, he was 14th.
14th, all right. I thought he would be a bit close in the end to maybe even snag the pole position there, because just imagine, right? You're 11th. That means you had been one position off getting pole position in the main race, which gives you a lot of points and a shot even for a great overall result.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult to calculate all the points tallies. I mean, that's why I've got the spreadsheet to see if I can get an idea of who's going to be where. But the points structure it actually changes for the feature race. So it was 20 points, then 18, 16, 14, 12, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, down to 15. But in the feature race, everybody scores points provided that you finish, obviously. So it's going to be 35 points for the winner, then 30, 28. 27, and then 1 point from 27 down to 1 for he who finishes last. So anything can change. So you could have a cracking sprint race and win that, but it can all change in the second round if you finish quite low down from a spin or contact or God forbid any technical issues, and then someone scores 35 points when they finished outside of the top 15 in the first race, and then suddenly they're at the top of the standings.
Sure, a lot can happen, and this is only round 1 out of 6, right? The Pro Series just started, so we won't have our champion tonight, that's for sure. But we will have, at least a first look out at this exciting grid, and we all watched the Hot Lap qualifier unfold on the timings on the leaderboard. That was crazy to see. You basically, if you had been 1.5 second off pace, you might even not made it into the Challenge Series, and the Challenge Series is 4 splits, so we're talking about 120 drivers.
Yeah, this thing is if you want to put it into simple terms, think of how the football league works in England or Scotland or Germany or wherever. It's like there's going to be people relegated out of this split, and they will go into the no disrespect to those drivers, the normal competition, whereas people are going to come up into this one. So there's a lot to play for, not just at the top, but there's still the battling for bragging rights down near the bottom.
Yeah, maybe we should go through that format real quick, because I know that it's something new that we introduced here. So at the beginning, there was the leaderboard qualifier. We took the fastest 15 to join the invited 15 to create the first season of the Pro Series with 13 drivers. And then we took the next 30 to put in Split 1 of Challenge and next 30 and all that. But in the challenge series that you can watch next Monday, 8 p.m., same channels and all that, so pretty simple to remember. After every second round, you can actually move up and down. So the top 5 move up, obviously not from split 1 because they can't move up further than split 1. But from split 2, you can make it to 1. From third, you can make it to second. But it also means that the slowest 5 out of those 2 rounds will drop down a split. For that, only the result of the last 2 rounds count. So if we're in round 4, afterwards we'll do move up and down once again, we only count race 3 and 4, not 1 and 2. And the end of the season, the overall result determines if you make it to Pro directly out of Split 1, if you make it to relegation playoffs, that would be the next step, or if you stay in Challenge. Waiting for everyone to be in the right spot and getting everyone ready for the big main race here, for the first ever main race we're doing. And the Pro Series Challenge, by the way, features a similar format, not an identical, but a similar format. So there will be a lot of action over there as well. Don't miss that next week. And also think that Lewis will join us for that. And will be an exciting moment once again because, hey, 120 drivers in one series. So I assume that there will be a lot of action going on. But we're actually gridding now for the main race. Let's quickly run through, once again, how we start here. It's Blanco leader on top, then Alsapti in second, Simoncic in third, Jordan in fourth, Siggy in fifth, and Kevin von Dor in sixth. Wisniewski 7, Jalak 8th, Capit 9th, Jajowski 10th. Oh, there must be something wrong because Rudy van Buren is listed for me as 11th. But I hope that will be sorted once we hit the grid. Or did someone get any penalty? Because Rista... No, Jajowski is now 10th. Not sure about that. Let's see. I'm quickly trying to see if race control lets us know. If we just missed anything.
They just think Rudy's that good, they're just going to stick him in 11th. Just say, you got that extra spot. Go for the extra challenge. Just like, I'm trying to see who it is. I got a feeling it's Peter that's at a spot, right? Because it was Rudy and Risto, and then Nico.
Yeah, that's what
I think it's Peter that's sort of at a spot there, Briljak. But you figure that out there. Obviously, everyone may figure that out. Maybe we'll get a restart. I'm not too sure, but obviously...
It's a new penalty system. If you start from pole position and you also finish first, you get additional drops on the starting order for the main race. No, obviously that's not the case. I'm sure that this is just a mistake in the grid they did, because as I said already, Pietro Bialak, he was at least new to me in the top 10. So unless we now decided for top 11 to be reversed, which would also be new to me, but hey. Never know, right? Maybe Jimmy had a great new idea and he was like, all right, let's rotate 11 people.
It does, of course, mean that luckily we get Dennis Lind and Jordi Sviers back in here, so they've been able to rejoin for the actual race. So obviously, you know, as Aiden just talked about, you know, the point system is pretty big, moving from the sprint into the actual the race. So we'll see whether that can sort itself out. I don't know whether Peter's going to maybe get corrected and moved around. Or whether it's going to be a restart. I want to see exactly whether it's going on whether everybody is going to sort them out at the moment. We'll see how it works out, of course. Whether they might be able to just sort themselves out on the formation lap here.
Yeah, they definitely could. I mean, they are free to switch around places. All of this is done manually. So I think I heard race control actually asking for that, so that they sort each other out. Yeah, I definitely heard them. It's quite interesting. We can listen in to race control.
There we go, right, okay.
And there was a warning already.
So it's Bianca Lilly that's got to be down in 11th, actually. He's not going to be the leading it.
Oh, he's not the leader.
So he's going back, which is why he's going back at the moment. So he's got to go back behind Rudy, which he is any second now. We can see him obviously at the side there. So that has been corrected. So now Rudy's in 10th as expected, along with Erhan, Resto, Nicodem. Sorry, I'm using the first names. I probably should go with the surnames. Everyone knows them as that. It does mean that Alsbati is going to be our starter here. So he's going to be the one backing them all up, with Simonic just behind him, Jordan, Siggy, and then Kevin Van Doren, 5th place. And down we go into what was the top 5, obviously, in the sprint race.
Yeah, there might have been penalty then applied to Bianco Oliva, or maybe that switch was after the start-finish line. We just basically overlooked that. That can happen, since when they cross the line and then they stop immediately, we might see slightly different result on the screen, but see, race control had the right one. They can see that. But it is Alsapti that will start the main race here on round 1 in Silverstone. And we'll see if he goes for a similar tactic as Rudy van Buren did, and waiting basically around the corner then to start it off. I think it was the chicane where he launched us into the first sprint race, right?
I gotta be honest, I think Dennis Jordan's ready to pounce. I'm just keeping my eye on him behind Hanny. We'll wait to see how it works out for him, but I think he's ready to try and gun it at the start. We see obviously the previous sprint, they backed him up at Vale, and that was kind of where Rudy decided to go for it from Vale. Pretty much the standard spot. I think probably going to see similar here from Alsbiti, and see whether he decides to go for it as they slowly come around into Vale. Is he going to gun it? Not yet. Now he's going out on club. Oh, here we go.
Well, that was a great start. It seemed like he basically shocked everyone. Simonic and Jordan already fighting, battling out there, trying to block the line. The Audi stays on 2nd position though, so that was at least covered. No one that overtake him. Jordan and Siggy right behind them. Kevin Van Doren, I think he also made a move already. Oh, that's the inside. Look at that.
Oh, Rudy said there's a spin back there. Rudy's managed to make up for it. I didn't see who it was. I think it was Cooper, maybe. I'm not too sure. Manuel. I'm trying to see who it was that actually got spun around. Somebody spun back there and they've shot down. It was actually Rudy right in front of Rudy Van Buren. So he's managed to make up 3 places from that. I don't see who nudged him in the back that started the spin, because he kind of like went straight in front of Rudy. Rudy may well have took damage in there. I don't know. Nicodem is up in 5th place as well. Annie and Simonic are still keeping that top 4, but it is livened up in the mid-pack.
Yeah, it was Risto Cabot now who spun out there. I don't know if he was the one causing this, but he's definitely one of the who's coming out. He's now down to 26th, the second AAA Esports driver. And as he said, Wisniewski and Buren, they both came through. Kevin Van Doren finds himself now behind his teammate here, because the 2 BMWs by Team Redline here. Let's see if they actually attack, but it seems Van Doren is not as quick as Van Buren right now. And Jajowski is the one now in the back that has to catch up to Rudy. He doesn't want to run him away. He doesn't want to see a basic replay of the sprint race, but for that he has to overcome Kevin Van Doren first.
Yeah, so obviously Aiden, I guess, saw it there because he said Pete was involved in it. So I don't know whether he was the one that got the knock. Aiden, did you actually get a look at it and see exactly what happened there?
Yeah, all I caught was Payapev getting nudged up the rear and basically just sliding through turn 1, went off to the right onto the pit lane exit, and he's joined right in the back of the field. That's pretty much all I got from that.
Yeah, I was just looking where Rudy was, and I just happened to catch the car literally spinning in front of his face. But it does seem that everybody else is now settled down in the places. I'm just having a quick spin down. I can't see Dennis Lynn, by the way. He's up into 21st, so he's gained 6 places at the start of that. Obviously in the Bentley, started down the back there after missing out. Erhan has got himself back up to 8th place. Jajowski, so obviously he didn't have a great start, really. Van Buren managed to get past him instantly at the beginning, but he's managed to gain a couple of paces back in there. Biancoli as well, also obviously into 9th, down to the fact that Peeve and Risto Capit has gone all the way down the back of the grid.
Yeah, definitely the first 4 are still the same, so nothing changed there. And then start with Nicodem Wisniewski, who started at 7th. He's now in 5th. That's the group now trying to reverse the reverse sprint again and trying to get into the positions they had been on the sprint race. So Nicodem Wisniewski, he would like to lock on to Kevin Ziggy, but he also has Van Buren on the back and then Van Doren. So 2 drivers.
Oh, that's Matty. Asmati just went wide at the front there, but he has managed to get himself a decent lead, but actually miles ahead now at the moment, 1.24 seconds, so he's really pulled ahead in the lead there. Did just go a little bit wide, but luckily, they're not close enough to make him count there, and it looks like he's got himself decently. Looking back, it is getting very close though between Kevin Siggy, Nikodem. I'm gonna attempt this. Wisniewski. I should have gone with the new.
Wisniewski, I think that's if we were to. I think that's how it's Wisniewski, but
I'll just decide for that one now.
It's the Polish double, the W's and V's, similar to German, right? So never quite get the pronunciations right, but it is definitely getting very close in that little pack, and obviously Rudy Van Buren is right on their heels as well, as he's getting a sniff on Nikodem's backside. As Wisniewski, it looks like he's going to try and put a move in here, but no, doesn't go for it. Thinking, has he got a chance going into the loop? But it doesn't look like he's going to try and maybe cut inside. No, he's going to have to back out of it.
Al-Sabti, by the way, putting up great lap times already, 158.6 here. A bit slower though than some of his, some of the ones trying to hunt him down basically. There's 158.2 on Rudy van Buren. Wisniewski in front of him with a 158.6. So everyone quite close. Still, the leader isn't the quickest right now, but Al-Sabti is able to create that gap now early on, and with that, maybe even, be a bit more on the safe side, not overdriving the tires that early on here in the main race.
Exactly. This is perfect for him, right? Gets himself a 1.5 second gap. We're only 10 laps in, 9 laps in at the moment. So plenty of time for him to just like chill the front there. Obviously got to make sure he doesn't take his foot off the gas too much. Just looking down the pack, obviously I saw Ehan, obviously very good drive from Ehan. He obviously in the first race has started to try and put a bit of moves on. He was just giving a little look around Kevin Van Doren, but he's got Biancoli. He had him on his backside. Looks like Biancoli maybe made a mistake back there because he slipped off now, and they are very much trying to get past Kevin Van Doren.
Biancoli definitely wants to close that gap to Redline and AAA Esports right in front of him. Yovski tries once again. He's getting out of the slipstream of Kevin Van Doren, maybe around the outside. That would be quite surprising to me if he makes the move stick, but he is quick in that corner. Look at it. The Redline BMW without any chance down the inside. I'm not sure if Kevin may be suffering some damage because he was a lot slower. Yeah, he's
Van Buren's been put to a spin.
Oh, there's a huge crash in the front. Look at that. Everyone crashing in the chicane there. We see Yovski spinning around that side. We see Williams, McLaren there. That's not in the right direction. And with that, everyone back in the pack again. Look at that. That's Stanley's Mercedes now that finds himself suddenly in that situation. Being overtaken everywhere.
What has happened there? That is absolutely carnage. So Rudy Van Buren is down in 21st, so that's completely gone wrong for him. Obviously, it was very much chaotic. People having to dive out of the way, left, right, and centre. I didn't really see what caused it, whether there was a move going in there. Obviously, Airhan's also suffered from this one as well. He's down in 15th place, so everybody trying to avoid it is really shaking up the whole top 5. It's actually the front 4 were unaffected. So it was from, say, 5th place downwards. Biancoli is now up in 5th place. Uni's managed to benefit from this. Obviously, Red Bull Racer in there in 6th place now. Kuba Brzezinski in there also in 7th place. So everybody moving up there. Didn't see exactly what caused it. Obviously, there was a move in 5th place involving Rudy that's caused all of this chaos.
Yeah, I was wondering if that was the move between Rudy Van Buren and Wisniewski, because it was the McLaren of Williams Esports that was facing the wrong way around. We saw the BMW there from Redline standing, and obviously Yovski kind of got caught into that. And I think that was, it was Yovski that came into the chicane and then found himself being faced by a McLaren the wrong way around, and it cost a lot of positions. As you said, top 4 still the same, so it had to happen behind that. Biancoli is the winner basically out of that now in position 5, and having Joni Tomele right on his back, the Red Bull Esports driver in 6th position. That's the blue, I would say black McLaren with blue livery on it.
Another bit of action here, and actually trying to dive through it. There's cars all over the track at the moment. Didn't see who just caused that. That was Jimmy Nisula's come out on top because he's up into 9th place. I think there was obviously a challenge between 10th and 9th place. Jimmy's managed to come out on top, but Ian now up into 12th. He was in 15th place, so a couple more spinning out there. This is action-packed. We're only in the 12th lap. There's another spin right on the pits. Who's that just spun out the back there? Somebody else go flying out. This is going bonkers.
Yeah, we talked about that. We expect everyone to be a bit more, relaxed going into the main race, but instead they're going all out. Dennis Lind, I can see now from 26th up to 20th, and these are a big fight right now. Obviously, William Burn is also in there as he tries to make up for what happened after the spin. Arne's there, Jordy Spears, that's the Porsche that you see in red and blue in that pack fighting there down the straight now, and front the Singularity Audi. So, now they created a completely new dynamic of these packs fighting. Oh, and Dennis Lind, he got touched, starting sliding, and then there was a touch on the inside as well. And the Bentley, the only Bentley in the field here, spinning out. That is very unfortunate for him. I'm not sure if he got the tap first, then started sliding and got tapped again, or was the tap that actually created this?
Yeah, it didn't work out very well for him there. It was looking like a wheel-to-wheel race. Going back further up the pack, looking at Biancalilli, he's kind of separated, but you can see, and obviously this is where the incident main happened. You see there's a 5-second gap now between 4th and 5th. It is very much a front-leading pack, and now they're kind of backing up behind Biancalilli. Uni putting on a decent chance here to Malala, so the Red Bull man starting to put the challenge on and seeing where he can go from here, and obviously try and gain as many points because the points have just been blown wide open with all these spins.
Yeah, I think that Aiden actually heard what happened with Rudy van Buren in the first crash there. Aiden, what was it?
Well, Rudy van Buren was getting pretty racy. He was trying to go around the outside of Maggots Beckett's, and I think he tried to do the same thing again going into Club, and I think going around the outside and just cut across a bit too much, spun himself out, and that was what caused the ensuing carnage.
Very unfortunate that threw the entire field around now, but Al-Zabdi with that still in the lead and maybe even a bit more relaxed right now.
You know what,
again.
You know what? He's got time. He's got time. He's working his way back up the field. He's desperately trying to get past Arnie at the moment. Arnie's shooting a minute. He's all over his backside, Rudy. In 18th place at the moment. You know, Erhan also dropped down to 15th. He's back up to 11th place now, so he's almost in that top 10 at the moment. So they try and keep the moves going, but Rudy's definitely swinging in. There's a quick late braking dive on the inside. Should be able to make it stick, and he will get past. Really nice play there. Making it work out for him. Risto also, by the way, don't forget about Risto camping behind them, also looking to try and follow through on the heels of Rudy.
Absolutely lost around 10th place where Arnautoski is basically pushing himself through up to the top 10 again, as he said already. He's making up for what happened. It wasn't really his fault there. The chicane we heard from Aiden. In front of them crashing. Wisniewski was in there as well, and there was also drive-through for the Williams driver coming out of that. So
that's pretty big.
Yeah.
That's with Erhan now getting past Yunus, he was clearly being held up, but there's instantly he's gained looks like a second over him already, and now he's on the pack. Now he's on the chase. He's got to try and chase down Jimmy Nisula. There's like a pack of 4 or 5 there with Manuel Biancola sort of backing them up, and they are all very tight. Like there's a second between sort of 5th down to 8th at the moment. They are all stacked up on top of each other behind Biancalini.
Wonder now if that's the chance for Joni Termala to have a way better race than previously, but he's being chased down by Igor Brzezinski right now. If we look at 6th and 7th position, that's Red Bull versus Williams. It seems like, that was slight slide here by Termala, but Brzezinski not through yet. And right behind them is Yuri Kastov in the Audi. He's just waiting for a small mistake these guys do, and then the R8 driver could just pass through and get themselves up to 6th position.
Back towards the front of the grid. Obviously, we've not paid too much attention because it's been going pretty crazy down there. Dennis Jordan's slowly closing on Yune Simonchik. I'm gonna go with it.
Simonchik.
Simonchik. There we go. Kevin Siggy also just sitting there watching it all play out, but they are slowly starting to put a bit of work down on that Audi and see whether he managed to get past. Obviously, Hani Alsbati at the lead. He's just cruising. He's cruising. This has played out absolutely perfect for him because obviously they're having a little battle behind him, so they're embroiled and going a little bit slower. And obviously with the carnage that happened from 5th downwards, it's just giving him this easy little race with what's still 20, 30 game races to go. Laps even.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the top 4 still how they started into the race, so you know that all the carnage happened behind them, placing to their cars because they had been on the downside of the top 10 in the sprint race, and now they're on the bright side of life, basically being the top 4. But the race is not over yet. There's still a half an hour to go, and the pack here, Tomaler, Brzezinski, Kaslov in Nisola, they're still fighting hard. I mean, they're very close to each other. There's a bit of a gap now once again between Kaslov and Brzezinski, but he might just want to get caught in the fight between Red Bull and Williams Esports. But Brzezinski, he's locked on, and I think he feels confident that he could go a bit quicker than Tomaler.
Yeah, back down the pack, Risto Capit trying to put a move on it. It's getting very crowded behind Arnie at the moment. Schunwillit. By the way, Rudy, who had passed them, he's pulled 3 seconds ahead of Arnie. Obviously, we saw him put the takeover move just a couple of laps ago. Risto's been stuck behind him though this whole time, so Risto's going to be absolutely chomping at the bit to get past him. And seeing Rudy passing away. And speaking of Rudy, he did just get past Ferris Stanley down in 16th place, so continuing to work his way back through the grid.
There's a lot of movement in our grid. Trying to catch up with everything that happened so far. Other groups fighting right now. Yeah, still 13th there. Martin Dillon 14th, so not much change there. He started 15th. So.
Down in, trying to jump across, down in 11th place. It's starting to really back up. The McLarens are stacking effectively in the corner there. They did all just back out. Yunus Revo pretty much had like 3 or 4 on his back, all looking to try and make the move. They all sort of out-braked each other and they've sort of backed up a little bit, but it's getting very tight down now. Now this is the pack that Rudy Van Bruyne is slowly chasing. You can just see Ian in the foreground as well. He's stretched away from these. He's chasing down Jimmy now, so he's managed to pull himself a 3-second lead on these guys. But this is starting to be a bit of a nasty stack, and obviously everybody from Rudy Van Bruyne backwards are all chasing them down.
And once again, the fight between Arne and Risto Capit is on. That's 18th and 19th. Currently the Porsche driver leading in front of the AAA Esports BMW, but Risto Capit has a lot to make up for what happened. Once again, he's looking on the outside of the Porsche, getting it around there very late on the brakes, but that will work. Wow, he's getting it done even on the entrance of that corner. He's just so late on the brakes compared to the Porsche of Arne there. Now Arne has to defend himself against Peter, and even forcing the McLaren through there, slight touching left and right, but nothing that's worth a penalty, I would say. And yeah, it is Arne on the losing end here, down to 20th in just, I would say, 2.5 corners.
Yeah, back to Rudy Van Bruyne in 15th place, and I say 15th place because he just absolutely sold a kipper to Jan van der Heide, completely did him inside and out, and it looks like he's trying to do the same on Martin Dillon now. So as he goes in the inside, looks like he's going to be holding off though in the Audi to try and keep him away, but Rudy is just scything his way through the pack, as we'd expect. Obviously, you know, he was the one. We don't know whether he caused the spin, and obviously we had the conversation earlier with whether that was exactly how it played out, but it looks like he's going to continue charging through the top 10.
I think we got some news from the pits and even updates of the standings. Aiden, what's going on?
Yeah, Nikodem Wisniewski has just gone through the pit lane for a stop and go, probably for other things relating to the drive-through he recently received. He's just bounced right across the sausage curve there going into the farm section. I've just been doing a bit of mathematics, not my strongest subject in school, but Mr. Sharma will be proud of me, is that if things stay the way they are, Hani Al-Sabdi will assume the lead of this championship. He only scored 7 points in the first race, and if he wins this feature race, he'll be on 42 points and be quite ahead of Rudy Van Buren, who we expected to be running away with it.
Yeah, points will be important. Even if it's only round 1, you want to be in a good spot, and obviously round 1 is also worth money already. So coming out with a win, round 1, it's worth a bit. and should be underestimated right now.
Rudy's made the move stick. Rudy's just gone straight past. He's continuing through the pack. And also ahead of Rudy, obviously Erhan, who was also caught up in the whole carnage that happened. He's now caught up on the pack. So he's right on the backside of Yuri Karsdrop and Jimmy Nisula. So he's done some absolutely fantastic work to break away. You can see there was a 4 or 5 second gap between 11th and where he is in 10th. So he's managed to put the times in, get the laps going. We're still only approaching the halfway time on this race, so there's still a lot of work to be done for these guys.
Definitely, and we also don't know yet how they go through the tyres here. We don't expect anyone to pit, it's pretty sure, but we don't know how good they can manage the set of tyres they have on the cars here, the race slicks they're using, how much that will have an impact on their actual times. I still see a 159.7 now for leader Al-Sabti, so coming a bit slower. He had 158s earlier, but that is the same for everyone else in the pack, so he seems, let me have a quick look. Yeah, he is currently the quickest driver. He also obviously has the least amount of traffic.
Yeah, I mean, it's the benefit of being at the front, right? Erhan has taken the move. He's made it. He's got past Yuri. He's up to 9th place. So he's managed to get through. The really nice work from Erhan to keep on the charge and continue and obviously reset your mindset after really the incident was absolutely nothing to do with him. He had to just swerve out of the way of it. Back to Rudy. He's trying to make another move once again. Unfortunately, Milan inside, outside, not trying to make it work. Obviously, it's going through Magnus Beckett's where he made the error originally. So obviously it was going to be in the back of his mind as he tries to make it count, almost getting sideways there as he tries to push it hard to get into that top 10.
You know, all for the points here in the main race. Let's have a quick look through the pack once again, because I think Ferry Stanley on 17. These are a bit of pressure on Rista Cabin. The BMW is making the move on the inside, so the Mercedes driver from Satellite Racing is the number 28. Actually my starting number on the car, so rooting for that, that's for sure. Down to 18th now, and Rista Cabin trying to catch up to everyone else in front after, a start that was horrendous for him.
Yeah, they're continuing to chase it down. Obviously, we're talking about the front. We haven't mentioned it too much, but Dennis Jordan is very much on top of Yuri Siminic. Continues to just keep taking a little peek up the inside, outside, just having a little look, keeping Simonchik. I'll get his name right eventually, trust me.
We know what you mean.
I've never been great with pronunciations. It's never been great, so I can't do them quickly. But talking about this front pack, obviously we were talking about the fact that there was this gap. It's not decreasing. Bianchi Khalili is still sitting and holding, I won't say holding everyone up, but they are kind of sitting stacked behind him, which is actually benefited Erhan, I feel, because obviously while he's down in 9th place, he's worked his way from 15th back to 9th. He's slowly gaining on all these guys, so there's a possibility that Erhan obviously could maybe just work his way up to 5th place. I don't think anything beyond that is possible, though.
Definitely, I mean, everything is possible right now with 22 minutes still on the clock. So I wouldn't expect them to settle for anything right now besides something. He would settle for first immediately, but that's not how easy it gets it.
Well, just looking further down the field, obviously there's a couple of pockets effectively. Yunus Revio is the one that sort of Daniel Pastor and Rudy Van Buren will have sights on next. Rudy looking to try and make a move down there. Spinning further down the field to see if there's any sort of action happening. It is very close at the moment, sort of everything around Rudy Van Buren, sort of behind him. He's managed to work his way through it. There's actually 2 moves going on right now. Borja making a move, he's trying to get around. Meanwhile, just ahead of him, Martin Dilleran is also getting pressured as well, as they all pushing around the side. Everybody's trying to make a move. Little pack of 4 that really managed to work his way through. They're still jostling.
See how all of this plays out actually. I'm not quite sure yet. I'm trying to look into if Jordan and Simoncic could actually have a closer gap from the previous lap, but right now they're kind of, it's only 0.1 of a second they lost on the last lap to Al-Sabti, so there is a chance, and they could be a bit quicker here. That's the quickest Audi R8 that we currently have in the field on position 2, and then it's the next BMW from Dennis Jordan from Evolution Motorsports, the 27. So BMWs seem to be good here in Silverstone. We had that already. Kevin Ziggy from McLaren Shadow is still kind of lurking in the shadow because he started 4th, He still is fourth.
Rudy's
Nothing
making a
happened
move.
for him.
Rudy's making a move. He's gone through the inside. It has worked again. He's up to 12th place. Absolutely fantastic stuff. Really, you know, considering he went down to, what, 20th, I think, after that spin, he has really managed to work his way back through the pack. So up to 12th place he goes. And now he's got a 2-second gap to chase down Yunus. But ahead of that, it's a 5-second gap. So it's now down to basically potting in the lap times and seeing if he can get any better.
And you can't just chase up people every single time. We'll need some time to get back to the field. Yuri Kostov still doing a good job in the singularity racing number 16. That's on 10th. Better than his sprint race, but he lost contact to Yayovsky, Misula and Brzezinski. They are all right in front of him. So if there's anything happening, and I have to say I'm quite surprised that nothing between Red Bull Esports and Williams Esports happened yet in terms of a move. But if something happens, then Yuri is back in that group immediately. Biancolina, though, he can see the Red Bull McLaren right in his rearview mirror, probably as big as the rearview mirror of that car. And if they chase him down and they want to make a move, it's once again the decision making, right? Imola would like to win another spot, get up to top 5, but he also doesn't want to open the door ever for Kuba on 7th for him to make a move.
Yeah, so going back to Yovsky, he's actually managed to catch up with the pack now, right? He's from 5th down to 8th. He's now caught up. He's made up the difference. There was a big gap between it, so he's managed to make that difference up in 9th place. Continuing to chase down, obviously, Jimmy Nisula just ahead of him. The first target, effectively. We'll see whether he can continue. I don't really know whether he had any damage. I got a feeling he avoided all the damage. It was more just...
Wait. We've got Dennis Jordan and Simonjic second and third next to each other. The Evolution Motorsport BMW tried there to get around Burst Esports Audi R8, but it didn't work on the first try. I'm not sure if they lost a lot of time to Kevin Sigge here in 4th. I said that he might waiting for the fight to start there, but now Simonjic is definitely under pressure. Jordan wants to take that second position off him, and it seems the BMW right now is a bit quicker.
Yeah, Tomola also just slightly behind them, also has his back mirror completely filled at the moment, so it's getting very close. It's actually amazing that Jordan's taken so long to sort of go that, biding his time, I guess, waiting for the tyre wear, waiting to see whether there's going to be some mistakes coming out from Simonjic, but it doesn't seem that way at the moment. They're sort of back to positions, and as you say, they've all lost time once again on Hani Alzbati up the front there because of that move. Hasn't worked out for him, didn't pay off. Back further down the field, Rudy up to 12th, continuing to charge. Ihan also still in 9th place on Jimmy Nisula's backside. Has closed the gap quite considerably on him. I think he's just waiting, just peeking a little bit, waiting for someone to make a mistake.
Yeah, definitely. Yovsky has still a bit of time in 17 minutes and 40 seconds, basically. Still the race clock, so the AAA Esports driver could wait it out a bit. He's in the top 10 already, and I think with current standings, it should be Yayovsky coming out with the lead after round 1, but don't want to call anything. They're still in the
on their mouth
because we had so much action and so many spins all around already. I mean, I don't saw spins because someone really did, like, let's say, a silly move. It was just people are fighting really, really hard right now. Everyone wants to have a good start here in round 1.
I tell you what, Tomola just tried to put a move on, and that sort of backed everyone up now. You can see Jimmy Nisula right back on behind him, which obviously gives Yovsky a big chance. He's looking at this little battle playing out in front of him. That's what he's waiting for. He's waiting for just get a little chance to move. He's showed himself out there a bunch of times to Jimmy Nisula to say, hey, I'm here. You can see he's pretty much bumper to bumper as they go through Maggots and Beckett's. Is that Maggots and Beckett's? I tell you, they're starting in Luffield. So they're just giving as much information as you can. Oh, I was right where I was, because I go through the start-finish straight right now. But what was the original start-finish? They say, oh, I'm old enough to be there. That was where I used to sit, in and around there. You go across the bridge that's sort of there. It doesn't exist in the game at the moment.
It's quite a while ago, I can tell you that.
It wasn't that many years ago they made the change.
It's at least 20, come on.
No, it's not 20 years since they changed club. There's no way.
All right, 10 years.
Yeah, but we're not going hard on Lee now. For being as
going hard, Erhan's going for it. Erhan's going through. He's got Jimmy Nisula beaten. He's managed to just open it. So Jimmy just sort of switched off for a moment there because that was the easiest move I've seen Yovsky have to make.
Yeah, Yovsky won one position there against Jimmy Nisula. That was 9th and 8th. That changed. Still, no change of positions between the Williams Esports and Red Bull Esports and McLaren's there. That was a fight that I thought would be on for laps already. But both drivers very calm. And also, Tomola losing a lot of time right now onto Brzezinski. So it's not going to happen anytime soon. But instead, Yayovsky could maybe look into gaining another position. He started 9th, he's now up to 8th, not from 9th, because he lost a lot of positions in between due to the spin and chicane, but he seems to be the strongest, like, let's say, returner from what went wrong in the early laps, because everyone else is still further down the pack. The same for Mr. Capet, who started 7th, and is now in 16th in the pack with Von der Heide, Durland, and Bielak. So, it will be just heard. I mean, we knew with this format that a lot can happen because we want to see action on the track and we want them to race for positions rather than just, starting off pole position and winning it again. But it still hurts to see you had a good starting position, a good sprint race, and then unfortunately you spin the car and felt yourselves at the back of the pack.
It certainly made it spicy, that's for sure. There was a lot of action back there when the spin started to happen. And I think they had multiple spins over multiple laps were happening. It was a little chaotic, but with Yovsky going up there, I'm pretty sure, obviously you guys were trying to do the math before, but I'm pretty sure that puts him in the lead if we stay as we are. We still have another 15 laps to go, so plenty can happen as we continue. He's chasing down Uni, and he's put the move on Uni as well. Straight through, easy as it like. He made that look simple.
That was really good. I mean, Yovsky is on fire right now. He takes his time to line up opponents, and then he makes the move happen. I really like that approach. He's currently not really trying to, push his way through, trying to punch his BMW in the inside and then see what happens. No, he's laying it out, making sure that the move will stick for him, and it worked once again, up to 7th now. And if he gets away from Tomola quick enough so that they start on the back of him once again, he might even be quick enough to close the gap to Brzezinski and Biancolina that are right in front of him.
What just happened back there? Someone just went out because Rudy Van Brugge just shot up to 10th place, and I saw someone shoot down the field. I didn't exactly see who it was.
It was Yuri Kazdorp. He got a drive-through. The cut tracks at Stowe and at Cops will get you, and they will get you good. I raced it last week, and they are pretty tight.
There we go, and that puts Rudy back into 10th spot. So basically where he started the race. So with that spin, taking him down to what, I think 21st at one point, maybe even further. He's managed to work his way back through the field. Unfortunately for him, obviously there is a giant gap. Obviously we were watching the whole Jimmy Nisula and Erhan working his way through. It's a 8-9 second gap up to 9th place from 10th. So it's time to start putting the sprint laps in effectively, but I don't really know who's got the tyres to do that now.
That is true. It's like, who has anything left on the rubber, basically, to really make the moves? Biancolina still has to defend himself against Brzezinski, the Williams Esports car, on 6th position right now. And Biancolina, he doesn't want to lose a top 5 spot, but he also knows that Yayovsky is coming in the back, and he is quick. We saw that he's ice cold when it comes to overtaking. He's doing a good job here in the main race, but it's also just 12 minutes that Biancolina has to hold on to the spot. And so far he's doing good. Brzezinski's not really super aggressively underway here in his McLaren. So let's see, they're both coming into the chicane now. It seems like Brzezinski could close that gap a bit. Shaky over the curbs there. Obviously want the traction coming out of the turn. You can adjust the traction control on these GT3 cars. I mean, everyone knows that. They're quite popular in real life and sim racing. But, Brzezinski was a bit wide out there in the turn. I'm not sure if he did himself a favor with that. Sometimes you want to extend the track, but not at that point. So with that, Biancolina still kind of safe, but as soon as it gets tighter on the track, we see that the Williams is closing the gap, and the BMW does as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yovsky's watching them battle, and this is perfect for him because he's just going to try and sneak up unawares. They've been embroiled in this battle for, what, 30 laps, I think now it's been going between these two guys. But look at the gap. Erhan already leaving that gap behind with Uni. I'm going to spin further down the field. I did just quickly look at Dennis Jordan. He is very close to Simincic, actually. I'm just going to see whether he tries to make a move. He's looking up the inside, but he's not going to be able to make it stick. Just continuing to give a little wink and a nudge every time he comes into the next corner. Kevin Siggy continues to just sit and watch and wait for them to make a mistake. Ausbati still at the front. I don't think he's got too much screen time, in fairness, to Ausbati, because he's kind of just been sat there quite happily going about his business and hasn't been under pressure. Should be able to pick himself up a very easy win, barring any individual error.
Yeah, he's another AAA Esports driver, and definitely the others had a bit more screen time, but he's doing a great job here in the main race. Really appreciate that. He's in control of the race. He seems to manage his pace because he speed up against, again, a bit, because he had been on 2-minute lap times for quite a while now, and he's down to 1:59 again. Quickest was a 1:58.5. So
Brzezinski's having a look, and he's got through on the outside, and then dives it inside. And look, obviously, Yahovski is looking straight at the backside and wants to try and get a piece of that as best he can. Now, I think that's Biancalili. He's finally gifted up that 5th place, and look at Yahovski. Yahovski's all over the backside, looking to try and make it a double impact and see if he can manage to squeeze on past Biancalili, because he's been sort of napping there, stuck in 5th place for a long time, benefiting from that big spin early out, and Yahovski all over his rear wing right now.
Yeah, I was quite surprised there. Biancalili looked in good shape there to defend Brzezinski, but the Williams driver made his way through. That's nice, and with that, he obviously motivated Yahovski that there is a chance to pass Biancalili. It's the last 9 minutes of the race. The BMW looks at the inside on the McLaren. It seems like he's making the move immediately to follow the Williams driver into making sure that he's still on point. Yes, Yahovski is through once again, so up to 6th position now. Still on fire, still doing good, and yeah, still looking calm while doing that. I like it. So I would even say he has a chance to also get inside the top 5.
Yeah, he's honestly, it is very, very impressive drive from him. Obviously, he was on the backside of Rudy Van Buren throughout the first sprint. Very much just, half a second behind him throughout the entirety of those 15 laps. And now, obviously, he did get knocked down. I think he was like down to about 15th, maybe even 16th, 17th. He didn't take any damage. I think he actually avoided it. I think he went through the pits. I'm pretty sure he went through the pits and had to completely avoid and get the hell out of the way. Which knocked him way down there. And what an impressive drive from him to get back up into 6th place. And as you say, there is a chance at 5th place. He's got plenty of time. There's still another 8-9 laps to go in this race. So still a chance to try and put a move on. Obviously for Kuba Brzezinski ahead of him. He's been held up a long time for Biancalili, so I don't know whether that's going to be possible, because it looks like Biancalili's obviously now backed away. He was kind of back in this little pack up, so Brzezinski, I think, is maybe going to stretch his legs a little bit here and keep that 5th place.
Yeah, it could be still back 9th and 8th. That's Tomola and Nisula. It seems like Jimmy Nisula really made up some time there. He's got on the back of the Red Bull Esports. That's Red Bull Esports versus Satellite Racing. Nisula would like to gain some more points here. The 158.9 as quickest lap. That is 0.2 of a second quicker than the Red Bull driver right in front of him. But, it's like it's one thing to actually manage a gap or close a gap. It's another thing to pass someone, and that's not as easy.
Yeah, I'm just having a look towards the 2nd and 3rd. Obviously, they're continuing. Dennis Jordan trying to put it about at the moment. Simincic very much on his backside, but not really got any angles to try and cut inside there. It's just going to be following him around and continuing to keep that draft on as best he can. Meanwhile, Siggy is actually slipping away from this battle at the moment. Okay, does Dennis, look, he's trying to force him on the outside, not going to be able to get the inside cut, still doesn't have a chance, still not quite close enough. But Simincic, he's been defending hard for a lot of laps. I got a feeling it's slowly paying off for Dennis Jordan here.
Yeah, it depends on who is using his tires more to keep the positions as they are, if it's Dennis Jordan or is it Simincic. But he is in defensive mode. Kevin Siggy is still lurking in the back to see if there's anything happening and which could bring him onto the podium. Now going down the straight, everyone in slipstream. Then in the back we saw Brzezinski and Yahovski also getting onto the straight, but Dennis Jordan, he's all over the back of that white, black and gold Burst Esports R8 right in front of him. And looking at the time, it's still 5 minutes and roughly 55 seconds. So we saw a move from the last 30 seconds in sprint race. Maybe that is the time when Dennis Jordan decided, okay, I want to make a move right now, waited long enough. Kevin Ziggy is also closing the gap, has to happen now.
Looking back further down the field into, like, say, 13th place, Martin Dilleren. It's getting very crowded back there. Everyone's starting to try to make the move. Remember, we talked about it, the points at the start. It goes all the way down, so every little lap can count. Martin Dilleren will be 13th place around. Risto Capit back into 14th place, trying to hang on and stick that move alongside Jan van der Heide. He's pretty much neck and neck at the moment, but he's managed to make it work as we go for another little peek. That's Peter Berg behind him, just getting a little peek around the side. It is all very crowded back there, so it seems at the moment everybody's looking for those extra little spots. Just 6 laps remaining in this race. Everybody wants those extra points. There's plenty to play for in the rest of the series.
There definitely is, but now they created that group of 3 at the front, Jordan and Ziggy. So we will definitely have some action on the screen for you here in the last 4 minutes and still 40 seconds. Zapti leading, there's nothing happening for him as long as he keeps the car under control. It's very likely that he wins the main race here, but 2nd, 3rd and 4th is still very much open here. Who could get that? And the same probably for 5th and 6th, as Jan Janowski is trying to close the gap to Kuba Brzezinski.
Yeah, just looking back towards the field and seeing whether Jan Janowski is not really in a chance to try and make that move. I'm not too sure whether he's going to make a push for it with 5 laps to go. As we say, he's had to work through the field and he had to push hard to gain on this pack. I don't know what sort of tyres he's got left. So looking further down, obviously we have Biancaloli, Tomala and Nisula all sort of close to one another. Nisula's had a little look back and forth with Uni, but I don't think it's going to happen as he goes really wide there actually. So maybe something will happen here, because that was a big mistake.
Can we see the car sliding a bit more on the rear now? If that is the rear tyres not lasting that long anymore, because they had a lot of stress on them throughout the race. Still, Simončić in 2nd position was able to create a slightly bigger gap now to Dennis Jordan in 3rd. So maybe he gets lucky and Kevin Ziggy is able to start fighting with Jordan first, so Simončić can be a bit more calm and relaxed, as he won't be under attack all the time. But nope, still they're going back in one group. There's not much between those 3 cars, so I really wonder if Kevin Ziggy is just waiting once again for the last 30 seconds as he saw in the sprint race. That move, I'll not forget that soon, because I love those last minute, last lap fights that we already see here in Route 1 of the GT Pro Series. But Dennis Jordan was holding on for this so long. He was waiting to make a move to get up to 2nd position for the entirety of the race. We're talking about 45 minutes here, and it is only 2 minutes 40 left for him to finally make it through. He started on 3rd, he's still on 3rd, but he wants the 2nd.
Yeah, I'm looking back further down the pack as well, from 11th, sort of 12th downwards. They're all sort of stacking behind one another. Everybody looking to try and make that little extra spot as we go through the last 3 races. It's really starting to stack up from sort of Daniel Pastor backwards. There's about 6 cars all looking to try and make moves. Peter Payek, Van der Heide, Capit's in there as well with Martin Dilleren. It's all, everybody's looking to try and go for the move. It looks like Risto Capit's having a little look. And Martin, that's going to be shut down though as they try and slide on through, seeing if he can force any errors. It doesn't look like it's going to happen though as they keep on sliding, but I think this is where most of the overtake is going to happen in the last couple of laps, unless, as you say, Siggy or Jordan do decide to try and send it in the last couple of seconds.
It is 150 on the clock, still 2 big groups fighting here. I just wondered if Zapti is really feeling relieved right now. I was like, alright, main race was basically just me. Nearly hot lapping, not on the same pace, but relaxed rolling around the circus, because it really played in his favor. Like, he had the right cards and everything in the back really helped and supported him to win here. Not saying he wouldn't be able to win this without that, just saying it became a bit easier in this main race for him.
Yeah, Martin Dilleren just, was that a spin there? What happened there? There was something happened, because obviously he was in that race pack. Aidan, you just saw it, I think.
Yeah, he's got a drive-through penalty, probably gone over the white lines a bit too much for the game to like.
Yeah, so that makes sense, right? Because he was in that big jostling pack at the moment. Oh, what's going on behind him? Peter Berg trying to make it stick, and he has managed to get past Jan van der Heij just inside. And that was all within this pack. So they've been fighting so hard. It's not too surprising to see someone's made an error. Is that Yuri Karlstrup at the back that's just sending it down the side? I think no, it's a light.
No, that's Kevin. That's Kevin from Dortmund.
Yeah, Kevin.
W. It is Yuri Karlstrup in the Audi right behind them. But yeah, Kevin has a look. He started fifth. He obviously wants to make up some positions again against Jan van der Heij. You know what? Just keep an eye on this fight. I will once again look up the front just to be sure that nothing happens. Nope, everyone's still in the same spot, so I can dive back to Van Doren and Karlstrup. Van Doren, Van der Heij, you're like, I think in terms
of... that's an error. Daniel Pastor, that's a big error, and it's looking like it's going to stack them all up behind him. Risto tried to go help the inside, didn't really work out. That was a hard, just shut the door from Daniel there. Shut him down. I'm also sorry to cut across, but I was also keeping my eye on what was going on between Jimmy Nisula. It looks like he maybe tried to make a move, and he's sort of backed off a little bit on Uni Tomola in 8th and 9th.
Yeah, that fight is now definitely on here between Mr. Capit and Daniel Pastor right in front of him. Oh, the McLaren. Oh, what a crossover maneuver here done by Mr. Capit. And he was sliding a bit coming out of that turn. The rear tires, they're not brand new. They're nearly 45 minutes old. But the BMW by AAA Esports made it through up to 12th position. What a move here. He's sliding left and right once again, but he makes it stick. And with that, he's throwing Daniel right into that entire pack of people fighting in the very last minutes. I think they went over the line, so that's it for Risto Capit with the move in the very last second. And Hani Al-Zabdi, he's obviously our race winner. And in what a fashion he did that. He has started first, managed the pace, made sure he's not overdriving the car, not losing concentration, and with that, getting big points here in the main race.
Yeah, no doubt about it. The top four benefited massively from those errors that involved. I guess it was Nikodem. It must have been Nikodem Wisniewski that got basically punished for it. That was because he was up there with Rudy Van Breun, right? So I don't know how exactly that worked out, but obviously he ended up going out in the punishment. But Risto Capit gaining that point back. Obviously, he was also in the top 10 in the sprint race, so obviously making work for him. He'd also punished. He was one of those races that also got sent backward. Obviously, Rudy Van Breun, he managed to fight his way back to 10th place, so great work for him. But obviously, overall, I think we're looking at Ihan Yovski, right? He's the man that's managed to work his way back. I know he got knocked back down to 15th place. He's worked it back up to 6th place. What a fantastic drive from him.
Definitely, but the entire crew of AAA Esports can be super proud of the start here in the GT Pro Series because the cars had, besides getting a lot of screen time, no matter where they had been on the pack because they were always involved in some action, they also delivered in terms of results, not just for one race, but basically for all of them, despite all the problems and issues they had. We saw spin and chicane, and was Yayovsky running into that. Mr. Capit had a spin very early on in the main race, basically right after the start. So AAA Esports can be super happy. Same for Dennis Jordan from Evolution Motorsports and Simončić for holding on that long, second and third position. They were chasing each other for 45 minutes and not making a mistake, not shunting each other from the track. I really appreciate the work they put into that, because even if it might not be as, action-packed, there's no overtaking, but following someone that closely or even defending it all the time is a stressful and very skilled way of racing.
Yeah, that would have been a tense 45 minutes for both of those guys. I believe Aiden has some provisional placements. We'll see, of course. Obviously, there's a lot to go on, whether anything's happened during from the race stewards. But Aiden, any sort of news?
Yeah, well, we were talking earlier about how the second race can really mess up the point standings. So we know that Rudy Van Buren took the victory in that first race, but because of all his problems in this race, he's now currently third in the standings. But this is how close it currently is. Obviously, provisional because my maths isn't particularly good and there may be penalties and so forth. So currently, Yovski has taken the lead of the standings. He has 43. Then it's Hani Al-Sabdi. He is on 42. Rudy Van Buren is third, like I say, on 41. Jene Simončić fourth on 38. And then Dennis Jordan fifth on 37, who is tied with Kevin Siggy. So very, very close to start off with, but like we say, anything can happen over the course of the rest of the season.
Definitely thanks, Aiden, for that update. But seeing the Route 1, I mean, we have been working on this championship for quite a while to bring it to you guys, obviously making sure that we have the right coverage, and super happy that the guys from the race are helping us out with this and making sure that everyone can see news and see the live stream racing here for the €15,000 prize pool. But then finally seeing it unfold in the first race and seeing that we had 50 minutes of sprint race with constant action on the track, and then 45 minutes of main race with, yeah, you guess what? It's constant action on the track. I'm absolutely super happy with how round 1 turned out.
Absolutely, we've had it all in this race. There's been some absolutely fantastic overtaking moves. The classic spins that cause chaos, and it was like spins. There was about 4 laps straight of people spinning. I don't know what happened. It was just everybody lost their mind for a moment. But then everything settled down, and then we got some real racing come out. It was really impressive to see. Obviously, great to see people leading, and like you say, the battle between second and third and fourth. They kind of held steady. The late charges, which is always wonderful to see. That's the beauty of like the reverse top 10. It always makes those awesome overtaking maneuvers. It's clear to see that these guys like Jan Jahovsky, who had a fantastic race, and really, not only can they nail it in the sprint, they absolutely have brilliant overtaking power. They're so good.
And don't forget, we will obviously be back with round 2 on the Nurburgring GP track at the 16th of March. That will be round 2 of Pro Series, but don't fret, it's not like you need to wait that long to see the more rFactor 2 action of this series. There's the Challenge Series next Monday, so that is an entire new grid, 30 drivers. We will broadcast Split 1 here on our channels, so that will be even more action because these guys are fighting for a spot in the Pro Series on Season 2, so after the 6 rounds that we have in Season 1. So there's a constant fight going on in basically every split, moving up and down. If you're interested in the format, check out the links. Obviously, check out the rFactor2 page, the competition page, where you can see all the information regarding how it works with promotion and demotion in this new series between Pro Series and the Challenge Series. Once again, thanks for obviously the race, TW Steel and Fanattack for making all of this possible. Yep, we didn't talk about that a lot, but there's also, besides the money the guys won today, there's also a steering wheel on the line, so that will go to the winner of the day, so of round number 1. We only have provisional results so far. And then there's a full entire Fanattack Rick for the winner of the championship. So money, Rick, watches. Yeah, wonder myself why I did never become better to win all of that, but I'm pretty sure that everyone will be motivated going into round 2 and trying to get some more points there. Nevertheless, I think we can actually close that. Thanks, Lee and Aiden, for joining me on this one.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to the next one. And we are going to look out the window where you live, right? You're in the Nurburgring, so we're just going to pop on down to your house for this this next race coming up on in 16th of March.
Aiden doesn't want to say anything. He's too busy already getting run over by cars in the pits, probably.
I was double checking my maths, so it's. I mean, it was such a great race to watch, such a great race to listen to, and I can't wait for the Nurburgring. So I think it's going to be even better.
All right, that's it. We will be back next Monday, GT Challenge. Otherwise, 16th of March, round 2 of GT Pro Series. See you there.